Yes, you are listening to the Ready, Set, Retire radio podcast with Steve Anzoni. My name is Jessica Forkel. Get more details on the website at fairwayfinancial.net. Steve, artificial intelligence is literally everywhere these days, including personal finance. You need a budget? Ask AI. You're wondering how much you should have in savings? Of course, ask AI. If you're looking for investment ideas, ask AI. There's a new study from the University of Georgia that suggests investors should be careful before treating a chatbot like a financial planner. Researchers tested 7 major AI platforms and found that while the answers often sounded reasonable, they weren't always consistent. And sometimes the recommendations varied significantly from one chatbot to the next. So as AI is becoming, of course, a more accepted tool for pretty much everything, where is it coming up short when it comes to retirement planning?
Oh, it comes up short in a lot of places. But with retirement planning, I think the last thing people want is to talk to a robot about their financial future. Now, from my end of the business, having some input from AI is not a bad thing. But the human element is the most important because retirement planning is not robotic. It's emotional, okay? It requires thought process from years and years of experience. It requires how to ask the right questions, okay? It's not just about a number. So Tracy was on the phone the other day talking to our local internet carrier. I won't mention the name because the phone call didn't go so well. So she's trying to verify some other information, and she kept getting this bot, okay, wasn't getting it, right? And Tracy's like, okay, let's put it this way. Her Sicilian came out, all right?
Oh, watch out.
And I'll leave it at that. So, but with good cause. I mean, she's just trying to get some new internet service for the house. Yep. It wasn't like we were trying to solve world peace or, let's help Trump with the war, all right? It was a simple request, and it just turned into a nightmare, all right? Yeah. And we finally got it done, but that's my point. I mean, AI can be helpful if it's in the right hands. That's the difference. If someone knows what to ask and how to ask it, they could get some valuable information back. But like you pointed out earlier, you go to these different chats and you're going to end up with different answers. So how does that help people solve things? I mean, I'm going to change my name to Alan Ivan, and then people could think, hey, Steve's AI, right? So, but I mean, seriously, it's like it can be frustrating.
1,000%.
But when it comes to this is why I take the time, and by the way, why I don't use software programs or any robotic things when I develop plans for people, because I'm developing plans for human beings, not for robots. I don't need a software to tell me, oh, the optimal age to take your Social Security is 68 years and 4 months. Mm-hmm. How do they know? Do they know your health situation? Do they know all the other assets you may have? Do they know your tax situation? No. So you can't sit there and get just a vague answer like that on a topic that requires so much more input. And that's where I come in with the years of experience. I can help you to understand what's going on. Where are your other assets? Are they in a taxable situation? Should you take them before you reach that RMD, required minimum distribution age? Do you take Social Security early? Do you take it later? There's a lot of questions that go on, and I help people walk through this step because it can be, really, really intimidating. Like some people have the right idea. They'll go online and they'll just plug in, Social Security benefits or Medicare. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden the IRMA, questions come up. Oh, what if I make too much income when I'm 65 and they're going to hit me more for my Medicare B and D and all this other stuff. And look, this is what I've found to be the facts, that most of the time, depending on where you are with cash flow, IRMA is either going to happen or not. All right? And if, by the way, if IRMA is affecting you, good problem. It means you have really good cash flow in retirement. It's not the end of the world. And it shouldn't be the only thing you try to plan on avoiding, because remember, they have a 2-year look back, Jess. So at 65, they're going to go look back and say, okay, what did you earn at 63, 64?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to apply those years. And by the way, for most people who are still working, those are probably premium earning years. Think about it. You're near the end of your career, right? You're at the top of your, food chain as to what your knowledge is, and it's probably your higher earning years. So they know exactly what they're doing, all right? So what we need to focus on is, where is the money? Is it all in the market? Is it all in the bank? Because you don't want that. You want buckets of money, which is why we developed our Buckets of Wealth program that talks about income planning, inflation hedge, savings for emergencies, and your favorite bucket, Jess.
The fun bucket.
The fun bucket. And that's what people need and want mostly in retirement. They want income so they can stay retired. They want to fight inflation so they don't lose to it. They need emergency money in case, well, the kids come back home and knock on the door and you get the answer you don't want to hear, or something else.
Yeah.
And I'm just being realistic. I've seen it happen a few times. And you need money that you can spend. Now, that's a scary word to tell somebody who's retired. Hey, you can spend this principal and interest, because they've been taught, oh, I can't touch my principal. But yet, principal isn't taxed, is it? And so sometimes in a year or two, for 2 years, you can use principal to lower your taxable income. All right? As long as you're replacing it with other piles of money. So let me be clear there. I'm not saying to delete all your money and spend it down. I'm saying to use it wisely. That's what planning's all about. That's what the Ready, Set, Retire plan is all about. So that's what you need to focus on, Jess.
Yeah, 100%. And in just a moment, I'll tell you how you can get this Ready, Set, Retire plan complimentary. But just back to the conversation about AI, right? Should AI be involved in this retirement or income space? Think about this. That example you gave about, your wife calling and getting so frustrated. And that was just to put internet on the house. It's the same thing everywhere you go. Everyone just wants to speak to a human, that human connection, that relationship. Steve, you're local. This is where you can pop by and say, hey, you can pop by with, hey, I got to change this or this happened. And here's the best part. When you call Steve and you call today, and that number again is 508-552-3230. You're not going to get an AI chatbot. You're not going to get, something crazy. You're going to be able to speak directly to Steve. That right there is crucial. I think something so important as planning for your retirement, you don't just trust this chatbot that has been created, right? Because it doesn't understand the emotional part of it. It may not understand the possible changes coming our way or be up to date on, let's say, changes with Medicare or changes with Social Security, what have you. So these are all conversations that somebody that's experienced and educated, has their thumb on the pulse there, like Steve, that's somebody you want to sit down with and start talking about these buckets of wealth, these buckets of money, opportunities, and strategies. Don't leave it to a chat bot. And what's even more amazing, and then I'll give you the phone number here, is people think, your identity is stolen easy now. Can you imagine uploading your statements with your social on there, your bank account number, and just uploading that into a chat bot, into the internets, as they say.
Yeah, that's
it's crazy.
Not a good idea.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah. So use it as a resource or a tool, but not the end-all, be-all. But if you want to sit down with Steve to put together your very own Ready, Set, Retire plan, again, this is a personalized plan of action for you. That phone number, 508-552-3230. 508-552-3230. That website, fairwayfinancial.net. Before we go to break, Steve, I want to give our listeners a chance to really understand what this Ready, Set, Retire plan is. Walk us through that process. What are they getting out of it? How do you go about the process?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for – see, that's why I have Jess on the team. She keeps us even keel, on track. But clearly what I find when I – and I talk to hundreds of people a year, okay, and going through this process, everyone's different. Everyone has a different scenario, whether you're married, divorced, widowed, or you're taking care of a sick or elderly parent. Everyone's situation is different, and that is why I decided I'm going to go at this personalized. I know it's more time out of me, but that's the point, okay? It's why people need somebody who's going to take the time to develop this, put it together specifically for that person or couple. And by the way, my team has the same approach. And when I say my team, not just my staff, which is wonderful, by the way, but my team of professionals, okay? My attorney who has the same attitude like I do, and, I call him my money guy, okay? My stock bond guy, who's been in the business, by the way, for 30 years, okay? He's got a lot of experience too, and I've introduced him to many, many of my clients, and they love working with him because he has that same caring attitude that we have here at Fairway. So that is the basis for putting together this plan. You need to understand how the plan works. What's the point of me, giving you 40 years of my knowledge on 200 pages to try to impress you? It's not going to help. But if I give you a very simplified 2-3-page version and say, hey, look, this is what you got. Here it is. Here's where you're trying to get here. And so based on what you're telling me about what you think you might need for income and all this stuff, I'm going to show you some of the better ways to get there. I mean, there's never one perfect way, Jess. That's what I've found, too. There's always a couple of different routes. But I will explain all those, and I'll say, look, you can do it this way, or you can do it this way. Both ways will get you to where you need to be. Some are more flexible than others, and some have more guaranteed income. So that's where, people come into play, whether they have legacy plans, Jess, whether they want to leave more money to their kids or grandkids, or do they want the income for themselves first and what's left is left? I mean, because people usually have houses involved and other properties. So we have a talk about this because, again, it's not a cookie-cutter thing. It really isn't. And I've developed so many plans over the years that'll make your head spin. And there isn't one that's exactly the same. Not one. And they're all personalized. And by the way, they're flexible. I've had people call me back and say, hey, Steve, this is great, but however, we're downsizing, right? That's very popular. I mean, hey, I'm going through it, right? So people will call me and say, hey, Steve, I got this house and I'm selling it and I'm going to buy a condo, right? I'm going to Florida. I'm done. I'm going to go to Florida and I'm not even going to be a 6-month one-dayer. I'm going to be a 12-monther, So that's a big change of plans. So we plan for that. How's that going to work? How the property sold? What's the taxes on that, if any? And what are you going to do with the distributions? Do you want to involve it in your plan, or do you want to give it to other children and not have the government take their share? Because there's ways you can do that too. So this is what we do and why we specialize in doing what we're doing. And this is why I brought on an attorney on board and Vincent on board, for the money, because it usually does involve, an attorney when you're talking about property and trust, and it involves obviously the stock market when, some of your monies. So we're a team, and we look at things together, we talk about them together, and that's how we present the plan to you. We go over it, make sure you understand it, then we move on and we implement it.
Get more details on the website, fairwayfinancial.net. That's fairwayfinancial.net.
Steve Anzoni is a licensed insurance provider by the Division of Insurance and is not registered as an investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve Anzoni, Massachusetts Insurance License 3851053. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Anzoni is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Anzoni is licensed in your state, please call 508-398-3337.